Hi Virgo. Hi Virgo. I was just checking if the microphone was working. Welcome to your July predictions reading. This reading is intended for those who have strong Virgo placements. I encourage you to use your discernment to figure out whether these messages are for you. I'm going to be getting predictions for the month of July. And we're basically going to start by getting an overall theme, and then we'll get more specific predictions using tarot. So before I open your reading, I'm going to go ahead, tune into your energy, and set my intentions. I highly encourage you to do the same, especially if you are just tuning in. Consider what brought you to this reading. What is it about July that you would like to know? And maybe are there signs of confirmation that you need to see or hear in order to claim these messages as your own? So let's tune in. Spirit, please tune me into Virgo's energy. Please help me offer Virgo the most clear, honest messages for their July month reading. Thank you, Spirit. So let's see what we've got, Virgo. I'm going to start with the Telezma Tarot to get that overall theme. I have more info in the description box about what you can expect in this reading. All right. Whoa. Okay, one more time. Spirit, what can Virgo expect for the month of July? We have the Five of Cups reversed. What's at the back of the deck? I feel like you guys... Let's just focus on the Five of Cups because the back of the deck got messy. There were all kinds of cards coming out. So focusing on the Five of Cups, there is a message here about change. And whenever we have a Cups card, it's more about your emotions. It's more about your relationships with others and your relationship with self. But with the Five of Cups reversed, the good thing about this emotional change is that you're approaching it with optimism. In the month of July, your feelings are powerful and they actually seem to be helping you, which is very uncommon for an earth sign, let alone you, Virgo, with your Mercury influences. It seems like July has a big effect on you because of the beautiful people in your life. You feel supported. No matter what happens, there's this overall feeling of, I can do this, I can get through this. And it makes me think that the people in your life are going to be very significant, and how connected you feel is going to determine how optimistic you can feel. Because if you feel connected, if you feel like you've got a support network around you of people who are caring about you, who are there for you, whether it's just them checking up on you or being a practical support throughout the month of July, it helps you feel like no matter what's going on, no matter how challenging it is, no matter how disappointing certain news may be, I'm going to be able to get through this. So I'm throwing in disappointing because usually when a Five of Cups is here, it indicates that something has disappointed us. We've experienced something and it's making us feel like, goodness, I had my heart set on this and it's not happening the way that I thought it was, so now I've got to figure out what else to do. And look, because you're my last groups that I'm filming, this may have already happened with this card reversed. You may have already been feeling disappointed based off of what's been happening in June. And so in July, you're coming out of that feeling. You're coming out of it and you're starting to be able to feel more optimistic is the best way that I would describe it, because you are also being cautious. For the fact that the Five of Cups is your main theme, it doesn't mean that you're over it. It doesn't mean that it's completely in the past. It means that even if it's still affecting you, you're not letting it be a negative effect. You're choosing to remain hopeful, again, optimistic, and to not be disappointed. And that's a lot. So I do think that again, the people around you have something to do with that. So let's have a look now at those three key aspects of your life. We're going to have a look at love. We're also having a look at your life in general, your lifestyle, and we're going to have a look at your finances. So let's get cards from the Oracle deck to have a look at the themes in those key areas of your life for July. Spirit, when it comes to Virgo's July month, what is happening in love for Virgo? Okay, we have the sun showing up for you. What is happening in their life in general? Okay, we do have a card. Whoops. We have 22. And what is happening in their finances, Spirit? Okay, I'm only going to take the top one. We have 6. All right. So the Oracle cards are giving us this feeling of balance, which I really like. Look at these even numbers. I think that your sign loves balance. You crave that sense of harmony because it feels like a temporary feeling of perfection. Life is never perfect, but you like to know that things are either making sense or that they fit or that they just are. It's not like perfection. It's just like a feeling of almost security and knowing that what you're doing is not a waste of your time. It's a helpful aspect of your journey, and the people around you appreciate that. They see that. So you don't want to feel like you're wasting your resources. So I think that July, there is this beautiful feeling of harmony in your life. If you have Virgo placements and you're seeing this reading, we do have this feeling of momentum building with conjunction. It does feel like July is when things are either making more sense or there's an opportunity to bring something to a head. And it doesn't feel like a conclusion. It almost feels like a climax where everything's kind of coming to a head and it's making sense with this conjunction, which is offering clarity, and it's making you feel good about the choices you've made, about the things that you've committed to, the things that you've been working on, the sacrifices you've made, because you are an earth sign, so you're going to be making sacrifices. And it just overall has this beautiful feeling of, oh, thank God it wasn't for nothing. So I do feel with that conjunction card, like July has a sense of purpose to it for you. And the purpose is that, again, it wasn't for nothing. So you seem to be recovering from disappointment, from a feeling of loss, or even from a feeling of having to adjust and make changes to the way that your life has been going in a certain way. You may not have gotten the outcome that you wanted the first time around, but it's the fact that you pick yourself up in July and you choose to be more specific about what you focus on. And we see that here in love with this Sun card. The Sun card in love is a strong feeling of happiness. It's also this warm feeling of connection. So it is a beautiful overall, how do I describe it, like theme to have in love. And we are going to be pulling tarot to elaborate on this and get some specific predictions about your love life. But with the sun coming out, it literally feels like a positive omen. It feels like a relief. It feels like you don't have to stress. You can just, there's a really almost blissful energy here. I wouldn't say peaceful, but blissful. And it could be representative of your attitude, because it feels like you're showing up for yourself. It feels like you're not afraid to do the things that you enjoy doing, while also taking new experiences in your stride. Now, there could be a lot of opportunities during the daytime for you to meet people, especially if you're going out into warmer climates or being able to kind of be in a public space during the daytime. There's significance here in your approachability when you're in these public spaces, and the fact that you're choosing to do things that you enjoy doing is helpful. I do think that for singles, you are highly likely to either be developing a relationship in July or to be meeting some new people in July. And for those who are in the early stages of a relationship, this is a good sign that you're approaching the connection with a strong sense of confidence, and it's clearly shown, like whoever you're interacting with is aware of you. They see you for who you are. They're not trying to project anything onto you. There is an air of romance with the Sun card as well. So for those who are in relationships, I think July could hold the chance to really create meaningful memories with your significant person and to help solidify how you feel and what you think of them, because there's a strong sense of clarity when the Sun shows up in a reading, and it comes from confidence and a strong connection to self, as well as not being afraid to do the things that you want, to feel the things that you feel, and to trust what you know. So very positive feelings in love. Overall, over here in your life in general and in your lifestyle, with the 22 card, we are seeing that direct connection to balance, duality, and partnership. So this is where I feel you are having people step up for you. There's platonic connections, friends, family, workmates, just people who are recognizing you and who aren't afraid to help out if you need that. And there's this strong feeling of you scratch my back, I scratch yours. It's not about you owe me. It's about we're helping each other through this. So you could be spending meaningful time with platonic connections and just, being able to have important conversations, important meaningful moments of supporting each other through things. And also the 22 just makes me think of, again, harmony. Like your lifestyle feels really well balanced in July. And a word that came out earlier was duality. It's not about perfection, although Virgo, you do like your things to feel somewhat perfect, but I think that you've got a good routine in July. I think you've got a good lifestyle balance. And I think that you've got some good people around you that are supporting that as well. And so you're going to feel that. It really helps you get through whatever happened before. Now, over here in your finances, I do like seeing the number 6 in your energy. You're the 6th sign on the zodiac. You're connected to the 6th house for that reason. And your sign just loves that harmony that the number 6 gives. It is a feeling of working and being rewarded for the work that you put in. So if you are making adjustments in July to the amount of effort that you put into your finances, if you are thinking about paying something off or working some extra time or taking some time off here and then working it off later, it's for the better. Like it's definitely going to, I want to say, be successful, but also rewarding, because for you, this feels like a rewarding experience in your finances. So let us have a look now at this specifically with tarot. We're going to start with your love life, keeping that Sun card out and your other supplementary cards. I've just been opening up the guidebook for this deck while we've been talking. Well, I've been talking and you've been listening. And I really like what conjunction means in the light position for you. I'm going to hold it up to the camera if you do want to read it all, but I'm just going to be reading the key terms and the light attributes over here. So the key terms are merge, blend, potency, and connection, which is really what I was feeling intuitively. We can see with the light aspect over here, a conjunction can be supportive, bolstering, or intensifying planets in the natal chart. The blending of energies can create new perspectives, a sharing of space, and a continuity of understanding from one planet to another. So there is this feeling of merging and just working well together, which is definitely coming through in your love life and in your lifestyle. This is a really beautiful reading, so I hope it resonates for those Virgos that are watching. Let me shuffle this deck. I feel like my cards are over. They're over it. They're like, why are you still using us? Give us a break. But I'm going to try get through these last readings with these decks because I just think the symbolism is really powerful. All right. Spirit, what is happening in love for Virgo when it comes to July? What can you tell Virgo about their love life? Oh, we got 3 cards straight up. Okay, so we have the Star card. We also have the Hermit. And we've got the 5 of Swords. At the back of the deck is the Hierophant reverse. So Taurus energy, Virgo energy, and Aquarius energy. We also have some Leo here. 5 of Swords makes me think of Aquarius, but technically it's just an air energy, so it's got some Gemini and Libra in it as well, just in case those signs are significant in the month of July or as a sign of confirmation. Now, the thing about July when it comes to love is that there is a feeling here of trying something new, and that's where conjunction really comes in as well, because we're looking at new perspectives, but we're also looking at new experiences. And when a Hierophant card is reversed, it feels like we're having to push ourselves out of a comfort zone. And this comfort zone is something that we created for ourselves through our attitude, through our approach to love, through the kind of values that we had, and also the kinds of people that we associated ourselves with, because the Hierophant is a higher level of order. And so when it comes to love, there is a feeling here of being more flexible about who you consider, about what you're considering trying, not committing to. We're not trying to commit to something too soon with the Hierophant reverse, but we are trying to try things out. We're trying to give things a bit of a chance to prove to us. And if they don't, then we use it as a learning experience to revisit what our sense of order looks like and what our structure looks like. So in love, we are trying some things out. We're not saying this is going to be who we are for the rest of our lives, but we are putting ourselves out there. And especially with the sun makes me think that you're being seen, you're being noticed, your confidence is radiating, there's a glow about you, and you're showing up in public spaces. So with the Hierophant reverse, this could be happening in a way where you're trying not to put too much pressure on yourself, you're trying not to make it a big deal, and you're also giving yourself the breathing room to be able to back out if it does feel too uncomfortable. We're not forcing ourselves to do it, but we're just giving it a go, trying it out. So with the Star card reversed, love for you definitely has this feeling of making sure that you're not cutting anything out prematurely. You may have had some sort of strict idea, some sort of strict aspiration in love, and you're realizing at this point in your journey that it's not that you can't have that, but maybe your vision was so singular that you were limiting your chance to try new things. So there's definitely a shift in perspective here with the Star card reversed. And there's also a feeling of embracing something that you've already tried in a different way. So it's like, the way I see the Star card reversed is like a blending of past and present to create a new future. So you may be trying to go to places that were successful for you in the past in meeting new people, or in forging stronger connections, and you may even be having conversations with people that about your past to try to get a new perspective of what you can do to move forward. But your present energy in love just feels very dynamic. It feels very open. There's still hope here. There's a strong feeling of I'm just trying to problem solve, but I'm also trying not to put too much pressure on myself when it comes to the future. And honestly, for the Star card to show up at all, and especially next to the Hermit, it feels like love for you in July has to feel right. You don't want to force things to get more serious if it doesn't feel right. I think that you have your own timeline, and that's what you're worried about. Maybe you set an expectation to have kids at a certain time, and that doesn't feel like it's going to happen. So now you're having to have these conversations about, well, what haven't I done, or what could I do better, and what should I be thinking about to do differently. But you want to do it because it fits into what you had hoped for yourself. And so that level of confidence, that level of focus on self has such a strong energy in your love reading that I can't even pick up anybody else. Like, this is really about you in July. So you may be better at cross-watching if you know your person's zodiac sign. But I just think that for you, and it's probably because, you know, platonically, you have all of this love and support. So when it comes to romance, you're showing up as being so confident in what you want, in who you are. The only thing that is not so confident is that you don't know what the future holds. And so that's where you're having to be open-minded, dynamic, and ready to make adjustments because it's not seemingly falling into plan. And that's why I think we have the Hermit here. You are spending a lot of time reflecting and processing, and it's active. It's not like it's just a dormant period. I think the Hermit in your energy is a completely different interpretation of the Hermit card. In other signs, the Hermit card can be about isolation. But in your sign, you're able to do that while you're still working on yourself. You're able to process what is happening while it's still happening. And with it being upright in love with the sun, it just feels like you're actively processing what's happening in love for you, which could mean if you are putting yourself out there, if you want to be, you know, meeting and mingling with multiple people and in spaces where it is possible to, especially with the Star card, maybe technology online in apps or chat rooms or, you know, some sort of program where they get everybody's email and you just sort of blind date set up. Whatever it is, your mind is just ticking over the information and you're trying to relate it back to your plan. You're going, okay, so they like to go hiking on the weekends. That's something that I'm open to, but I don't like how they go out all the time. It makes me wonder, you know, whether they're even ready to settle down. So you're constantly evaluating what you're seeing in your love interest, what you're seeing in the love connections around you, even your friends' relationships. You're looking at what they're going through, you're processing that, you're going, oof, okay, so I'm going to remember that and think about that for myself. And you're ultimately just trying to figure out, well, how does this fit into my plan? So July has this really, it's like you're playing yourself as a game in love. And the mission is to be confident. That's what it feels like. So with the Five of Swords here at the end, you're not afraid to walk away, which I think is really powerful in your energy. A lot of people, well, I think the thing about Virgo is it goes either way. Either you're prone to being taken advantage of because you can be very generous, or you learn very quickly how to stand up for yourself because you know that people like to take advantage of nice people. So to see the Five of Swords at the end of all of this actually feels like a beautiful confidence again within you to be able to walk away when something doesn't feel right, especially if you're just getting to know someone. If it doesn't feel right, if it doesn't match up, don't think about it too much. You've already processed it enough. You've used your experience and your wisdom to exercise discernment, trusting your instincts, and walking away when it just doesn't feel right. So I do see you removing yourself from environments where those people just aren't fitting into your vision. So you're being flexible and open-minded to an extent. You're not going to be taken advantage of with this Five of Swords. Now, for those in relationships, I do feel like you and your partner are trying to get on the same page about something, and you have different ideas about either when to do it or what to do. It could come down to maybe one of you wants kids now, the other one isn't sure if they even want kids at all, but it could be big enough to where you have to really think, can I work with this? Is this okay for me? Will I be happy if I settle for this? And then you have to deliver that news. And it's going to be a difficult conversation, but with the Five of Swords upright, you're delivering it by staying true to what you want and what you need. So we're not here to win the popularity vote. We're here to stand up for ourselves and to communicate our needs effectively, which really pays off in your ability to be adaptable and to be discerning and to be able to just secure that future that you want in love. So there is a lot of fun in this. I know I didn't make it sound very fun, but there is fun in this. It is something that you're in the driver's seat, you're in control. So it feels like something that you could have a lot of fun with, whether you're meeting new people or just exploring a future with a current person. Let's have a look now at your lifestyle with this 22. Spirit, what can Virgo expect in general in July? What do they need to know about their life and their lifestyle in July? Okay. We have the Two of Swords, King of Pentacles. Whoa, I'm gonna shuffle that again, that's too many. Spirit, one more card, please. Okay, and we have the Seven of Wands. At the back of the deck is the Hermit card again. Wow, look at you and your power. So when it comes to your overall lifestyle and your feelings and attitudes about the life that you're leading, there is this feeling of it's not quite right yet. I need to perfect some things, and I'm going to have to be a bit patient with my journey because there's things out of my control that I still don't know about. And even though I'm trying to find the answers, I still feel like I'm in the dark here. So life feels like there's an air of uncertainty about it, and that you're really having to be careful. You're having to tread carefully and just use whatever wisdom you can, but you feel like you just don't know what's going on. And that's a lot, sweet soul. So that's just your bottom deck energy. Let's have a look at what's going on over here. Conjunction, Two of Swords reversed. Is this a decision that's being made for you? Because it feels like there's clarity, there's no indecisiveness, but there's still this question mark of, okay, so even though I know what I can't do, how do I make something out of the leftovers? So there's this feeling of starting July with a lot of ambiguity is the best way that I'd describe it. Like, you know what you can't do, but that doesn't help you figure out what you should do. And so there could be a lot of asking questions here, trying to figure out what to do, trying to be patient until something feels really compelling, until an obvious action arises. It almost feels like you're stuck in a waiting process here, where you're waiting to hear back about something and the news is taking a long time. You've heard secondary information that said, you know, oh, well, you can only apply for this or you can only do this, but you're not getting any clear information. So I feel like you are trying to distract yourself from what you can't control in July by being very specific about what you talk about what you choose to see, about what you choose to do. Like there's something here that you're almost avoiding, and it could just be like we're in a crazy time. There's so much going on in the world. So maybe you're just trying to keep your sanity by being very careful about what you watch on the news, that kind of stuff, because this is your lifestyle. So it's your free time. It's the energy in your home. It's the activities that you choose to do when you're not working. And it feels like there's a filter here where on one hand we're being protected, on the other hand we're actively choosing not to see something because we just don't want to know yet. So with the King of Pentacles in the middle, a lot of your energy, time, and attention is going towards maintaining what you have with the people that you have, the things that you enjoy doing. There's a strong sense of responsibility here in July. And so you may feel like there are people in your life that you're responsible for, family members, loved ones, especially if you're in a position of authority. It could feel like you've got a lot of big decisions to make in the future. So in July, you're just trying to take it one step at a time. But it could also feel like you need to keep those people who are responsible for you in your back pocket. Like you can't afford to jeopardize those connections, even if it is a colleague connection. If that person's in charge of your roster, like you're doing whatever you can to maintain that relationship, even if it means helping them out on the weekends. You want to make sure that the people that take care of you have your best interest at heart as well. So there's this strong feeling here of responsibility in your lifestyle, and it's about how the people around you work with you and how connected you feel to them and how connected they feel to you. But I mean, the Queen of Pentacles is really the people person who's managing those relationships. The King of Pentacles is the one who's worrying and looking ahead and trying to make sure that the long-term plan is secure. So there is this bigger picture feeling about your lifestyle in July where you're thinking so many years ahead and you're having to set up some plans for the long-term future. And it could be as simple as, you know, maybe you've got kids that need to go into daycare or start school. So you're thinking about applying for some schools, or maybe you yourself are thinking about a change of career, but that's going to take years in the making. So you're looking into the process now. There's definitely a feeling of handling your responsibilities and making sure that your reputation is good, making sure that, again, the people around you see you in a positive light, see you as a capable person, a generous person, a responsible person. And with the Seven of Wands at the end, the overall feeling of your lifestyle in July is this energetic battle. Like, it's not easy to do this. You're actively choosing to do this. You're pushing yourself, you're challenging yourself, and you're learning more about yourself in the process. So it does feel like a little bit of an uphill battle, but you feel like it's going to give you the momentum that you need, because after the Seven of Wands is the Eight of Wands. So you feel like if you push yourself in July, if you make these changes, and if you focus on what you can control, everything else should fall into balance. So there's a strong feeling here of it's not what you do, it's who you know. So there could be a little bit of like marketing here or networking here in order to set yourself up and give yourself the lifestyle that you want long term. Especially with the Seven of Wands, it's a lot of asserting your energy at the right time, asserting your charm, your confidence, your effort, your capabilities, your skills, and making sure that you're being seen as someone who has a good reputation. So there's a blending here of lots of different things in your life. Like your free time is, it feels very almost political. Like it's quite, there's a strong feeling of like you have a sense of purpose in your lifestyle. Like I'm hearing there's no rest for the wicked. So although we see this balance, I think that you're really playing your cards here and you're doing something that other people don't realize. They just think, oh, that's Virgo. Virgo's always been really good like that. And people are talking about you in a good way too. So whereas you're thinking, have I done enough? I don't think I'm doing enough. I don't think I'm quite there yet. You're holding yourself to a very critical high regard, and you're being very self-critical of whether your actions are enough. But I feel like the people around you are going, oh my gosh, Virgo is so good. Virgo's so kind. I'm so grateful that Virgo's here. Oh, Virgo, of course you showed up early. Thank you for coming. Like it's that kind of energy. You're really showing up for people. And you feel like it's your responsibility to do that, which is interesting. So having a look at your finances to close your July predictions reading, we have the 6 here. Let's see what Tarot has to say about your finances in July. Spirit, what can you tell us about Virgo's finances? So we have the 4 of Pentacles. We also have the Lovers. So you've got to make a big decision here about an opportunity to grow something. And with the 4 of Pentacles, you don't, and the 5 of Pentacles at the back of the deck. So money could be a concern in July. It's something that you're having to really be cautious of, how much you're spending, how much things are going to cost in the future. It feels like there needs to be some changes to your spending, changes to the income that you're receiving in order to supplement a change in your lifestyle. So what's going on here is that you're handling this very well. You're being very realistic and you're being very cautious, but it is for a reason. Otherwise this card wouldn't show up. So it's good to approach money like this in July. Be cautious, be realistic. You're being aware of a change that's happening, and it could be that you're working less, but the income is changing and the expenses are changing, and it doesn't seem to add up. You might be spending more money than you're making, which could cause you to dip into a savings fund or to seek some sort of loan or to borrow money. But I do think with the 6 being here overall, there is again this feeling of trying to make something work with your money, trying to have some sort of mutual exchange here, which does feel like a loan, but the tarot isn't saying it's that at that point yet. It's saying for now, we're just trying to balance things out to make sure that we have what we need. So in July, you could be starting to take saving money a bit more seriously. You may need to be more aware of what you are spending with the 4 of Pentacles and just protecting what you have. Outside of that, this is also about protecting your assets. So it is about job security. It's about making sure that you have job security, making sure that you have some sort of financial security or asset security. So it could even look like, you know, if we're not talking about money, we're talking about assets. Maybe there's a way to make that more secure so that you don't have to worry. You're doing this so that you don't have to worry in the future. It's a big decision to make. It involves getting somebody else's feedback, making sure that you're both on the same page, which means it could be a fund manager or a bank manager or your partner. But it's like you both have to agree, yes, this is the right thing to do. And it may feel like you're locking it down and making your finances less accessible for the interim, but long term, it's a good decision to make. It secures your future growth, if that makes sense. And it almost feels like a nest egg. So we're trying to be very practical and realistic with our money and making decisions to secure the money that we have now so that we can make the most out of it in the future. But it just means that in July, we're being very careful about what we spend, and we're having big conversations with important people about how to spend our money, how to save our money more importantly, and what to do to make the most out of it in the future. So that is what I'm seeing for you, Virgo. I'm going to end your July predictions reading there. Thank you so much for tuning in, especially if you were able to drop in live. I appreciate your energy exchange. Thank you for your time and your support. I wish you a peaceful... Oh, hang on, I can't say it like that because it's like a spiel. So I got to do it how I know it. When it comes to the month ahead and until we meet again, I wish you peace, joy, happiness, abundance, health, wealth, success, and I'm going to throw in love. Look after yourself, look after your loved ones. I don't think I need to say that. You're just going to. And yeah, have an amazing July, Virgo. Thank you. Bye.